Yo, what up guys, Corey Sandman Sandhagen here. Today we're going to talk about Justin Gaethje versus Fiziev. A super technical, really good fight. Gaethje looked awesome, Fiziev looked awesome. It was really good on the both of them. Let's talk about what they both did really well, what they maybe could have worked on a little bit. Video sponsored by Aries Tech, link is in bio. Check out the instructionals on OnlyFans. Peace. Cool, all right, first things first guys, let's talk about the knockdown. All right, so this was cool. This is something this is like a Gaethje thing, you know what I mean? Like, so Gaethje fights in a way where he dips really hard this way. It's kind of a boxer style, you know, he trains with Trevor like how I do. It's a little bit of like a boxer thing to kind of drive yourself in and lean this direction. It works really well too. The guys that are good at it, I know that just coming from like more of a kicker standpoint, you could be like, well, they're dipping their head this direction and they're going to get kicked and stuff like that. And yeah, that's totally true. But I mean, Fiziev is probably one of the best kickboxers in the UFC, and he wasn't able to capitalize off of any of that stuff that Gaethje was doing. So if you're good at it, it works. If you're comfortable with it and you understand the techniques and like where and the timing of where to put your head on that type of stuff, obviously it works. So the first thing that let's talk about with Gaethje is the knockdown, right? Gaethje dips, okay? And this is why I call it such a Gaethje thing, is because he was coming over the top a lot, right? Like, obviously when I'm in this position, I have like a ton of like drive off of my feet. I'm like really athletic in my legs here. I punch a lot harder like this than I would like this. Here, I can obviously use my legs and that's better. So he was coming over the top a lot, which was sweet, you know? They're not like the cleanest landing shots, but who cares? Like if someone keeps hitting you, even if it's here, like even if they don't like hit you right on your jaw and turn you like the really gnarly, like cool looking knockouts are, even if you hit someone here 1,000 times on the side of the head and you're built like Gaethje, who's just built like a solid rock, and I know because like I've shot in on him and like been hit by like little short shots by him where I'm just like, this man is like made of cement inside of his skin. But when you're built like that, you don't need to crack someone super hard on the chin in order to hurt them. Like you just keep hitting them here over and over and over again. So he dips, boom, he's landing really good overhands like this, okay? And then one time he just dips. I don't know if this was a read on Trevor's part or if Gaethje saw it himself or what, but then he starts throwing uppercuts. I guess he threw a couple before that, but not kind of from this really near range where he was going over. He dips and then throws an uppercut from here, okay? He does a good job, Gaethje, of course. Gaethje doesn't ever really load big on his right hand. I won't say ever, but like for the most part, especially in these tight spots, when he does go to throw, they're not loopy or they're not like really big here all of the time, okay? This one definitely wasn't. He dipped, boom, came up, and it was a really short shot, bang, hit him right on the chin. That's a nasty one. I feel like everyone likes to talk about how do you get knocked out, like do some people have chins, blah, blah, blah. I really think that a big piece of not getting knocked out is if you can't register that the shot is coming and your body and your brain can't like prepare itself for it, it doesn't know what to do, and so it puts your lights out a little bit quicker. I don't think Fiziev saw this shot coming at all. I think he was thinking that this shot was coming, and when Gaethje came up and threw the uppercut, obviously really hard to see something like this from that range, especially the way that Gaethje throws it so short, okay? So that's the stuff on Gaethje's side. The stuff on Fiziev's side was pretty cool also, okay? Elias, can I use you? My trusty slave here. Elias just won his fight. Give him a congratulations.
Who cares? Who cares, brother? Who cares, brother? Who cares?
So Fiziev, okay? He gets a really good underhook on this right side. Boom. He kind of gets it a little bit on the left too, but actually let's switch just so that the camera can see, and I do it better on my left side. But he gets this really good underhook here, okay? Some guys, when they're wrestling, will be a little bit more here in their stance, okay? Like, tie back with me, don't be fucking weird. Yeah, all right. So we're here like this, all right? Some guys will protect themselves like this. If I want to be a little bit more defensive in the clinching positions, it's harder for Elias to like, take me down and run me over or knee me if I'm in this bladed style, okay? Obviously, he can come around with this one, boom, but it's a lot less scary than if I'm square and he can like knee me straight up the middle if I'm thinking defense, okay? Fiziev doesn't really think, especially on the wrestling too, sorry, before I move on. When I'm like this, if Elias does go to shoot on me, like it feels fine for someone to shoot on me off of the side. But if Elias goes to shoot on me and I'm square and he runs me over, I don't like that nearly as much. So this is a little bit more of a defensive way to approach like the clinching in MMA. Fiziev doesn't do this though, which is cool. He's like, nah, fuck it, we're doing offense, bitch. So he will be here. I don't know if he has like a collar tie or a double under or a whizzer, maybe a collar tie. He'll underhook really good on the one side, and he'll keep this thing really solid, right? He'll collar tie. His hips are here like this, like very Muay Thai style, okay? If you do this in Muay Thai, they're going to trip you. Like they're going to step behind and start to do this kind of stuff. Here, obviously, that's a really hard thing to do. So he'll be here leaning and land like super hard knees. Fiziev is obviously a really nasty athlete, so they're better than what 99% of the people and what that are watching and just in the world are going to be able to do because he is just a really good athlete. But the way that he does it is he gets an underhook, kind of gets a collar tie or whatever he gets on this side, keeps his hips really square, and he's like, no, we're doing offense. Keeps this, more or less, keeps him safe from the wrestling. If I have an overhook, like Elias gets to shoot down on my legs a little bit easier. Obviously on an underhook, he can't like go through my arm. He has to like wrench this thing down and then go, which is a lot harder. So that was Fiziev. The second thing that Fiziev did that was super awesome, and just a side note, I don't know if you guys watch Vikings, but Fiziev is the real life Ragnar Northbrook. I fucking love that about Fiziev so much because, have you seen it? You've seen Vikings?
I've seen the guy.
Not the same thing. He even talks like him.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So he even talks like the guy. He looks like the guy. I don't know. I think that's awesome. But yeah, just want to say that Fiziev, I like you for that reason. And if you haven't seen Vikings, you should watch Vikings. It's a really good show. The other thing, okay, so Fiziev was landing a ton of these like body kicks here, all right? A lot of them were open stance here. Switch. So the hard part with this stuff, guys, is if someone's kicking me in my open stance, is one, these are like really hard and difficult to get out of the way of. So like when I'm blocking here like this, it can be really difficult for me to try to cover everything. When it's open stance like this and not closed stance like this, when he throws this leg, I have some of my shoulder at my head. I have some of my shoulder to protect myself. So it doesn't feel like as intimidating. On this side, I don't get like the same level of protection from my shoulder, just like on a Philly shell style stuff. Like my shoulder protects me on the punches that come from this side when it's on a lead, okay? On my rear side, I don't have that same protection, which sucks, okay? And most guys are gonna defend the head versus the body more because no one wants to get knocked the fuck out on television. So when Elias throws, these can be really hard to cover everything, my head and my body. Like I'm pretty crunched and covering everything, and really my fingers are the only thing covering the top of my head, which would really suck to get hit in. Like if Elias kicks me like on the top of my noggin, even if my fingers are up, I don't like this, and I can't cover enough of my body, okay? So you can take advantage of this big time if you're an open stance fighter, all right? Elias can throw and just go right underneath my elbow because I'm probably going to err on the side of caution and not get knocked out to getting kicked in the head. And you can go right underneath people's elbows pretty good in this open styled stance. So Fiziev did a really good job of that. That also, if we use switch stances, that also kind of stops when I start to dip like this. It can disencourage that a little bit. I think he also did it lefty. Yep, lefty. Where Gaethje was kind of like dipping, like I was talking about, a lot like this. Fiziev was rattling these off. Gaethje blocked a few of them, but that's a really good idea on Fiziev's part. The second thing that Fiziev did, and then we'll wrap up the video, is he did throw a couple really hard knees up that side too, where if someone is dipping down this way, it's a really good idea just to fill this space with some scary shit. And some scary shit is the round kick and the knee, all right? So if someone's going like this a lot, boom, that's a good idea. The knee also, boom, is also a really good idea. So Fiziev was doing all of the right things. Gaethje's just a really comfortable guy fighting in that space. He keeps his hands up. And it was a great fight. So congrats to Gaethje. I'm happy for him. Peace. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Later.